Guys, it's Terry from White Oaks Bison Farm here in Indiana. And the grass is growing, it's springtime, and we have a lot of things to get done. So we need to get some bison picked up this week. We also have an episode with the bison getting out and onto our pollinator habitat, and we also need to plant a pollinator habitat.
Well guys, we received a good phone call last night from the producer from our last video. The last 3 bison we weren't able to get loaded, he was able to get onto his trailer. He was able to do this by slowly grain feeding them onto the trailer and then closing the gate once they got inside and got comfortable. That was bad timing because we're leaving for the Eastern Bison Association conference in the morning. This technique of slowly grain feeding the bison onto a trailer is a technique we see pretty common in the industry, especially with a lot of producers that don't have a load-out system. Typically, if the bison are willing to accept a grain or molasses-based feed, they slowly come onto the trailer, and then once they get in there, the producers close the gate. What we're doing now is we're backing the producer's trailer up as close as possible to ours, and also making sure that the slide gates align. That way the bison have a clear view to transfer from one trailer to the next. Well, I was definitely happy to see this heifer load onto the trailer first. She was the more aggressive and bigger of the two, and we got a load of calf yet on this trailer. So we're gonna be able to put this heifer here in a compartment by herself, and hopefully that'll make the ride home just a little bit easier for the calf and myself. As this heifer was wanting to load onto the trailer backwards, this calf seen just enough opening to slide through and get on. We weren't expecting that, but it was a good move. This heifer wanting to load onto our trailer backwards is something that we commonly see, especially when we're doing a hot load, meaning we're going from one trailer to the next. They definitely do not want to turn their back on their threat. That's just a natural instinct bison have. Now that we've got all the bison loaded onto our trailer, one last thing we have to do is close our slide door, and then we're ready to take off.
Okay. Good. Now you gotta lift that up. Back a little bit.
We were not expecting any rain or snow on this trip down to pick up the bison. After seeing how wet the floor is, we better stop at a local farm store and pick up some shavings or some straw just to help secure that floor a little bit for the bison. That way they don't fall and get hurt. That load out was quick, easy, and safe for us and the bison. That's good because we need to get back home before it gets dark. We will be cutting it close getting back home. We got about a 2.5 to 3 hour drive if everything goes as planned. Now that we have all the bison loaded out from this farm, the next steps would be getting our corral panels back to our farm. The producer and I talked that we'd be back in the next week or so to get those picked up. We're working on bison in the next few weeks and we're going to need those. We did make it home before dark, as you can see in the video, but not by much. As we pulled in the driveway, it didn't take long, and the cows and heifers are in the front lot come up to the main gate. So Riker had to get out and use the flag to try pushing them back. The bison in the trailer were being very vocal, and so was the herd. This definitely created a dangerous situation for us, and we slowly had to pull the trailer through, at the same time trying to get the bison back.
Go! You got any over there on that side?
With Riker and I both attempting to push these bison back so we could get the truck and trailer through, the dogs overheard us as well. They were in their kennel, but they started barking, and this definitely did not make the situation any better.
Good? You good, son? Are you got the gate shut? Yeah. Oh, I didn't know you were in here.
We have not seen this type of behavior with this group of bison before. We think a lot had to do with how vocal the calf and the two heifers were in the trailer is what created this problem for us. Next time we bring a load of bison back to the farm, we'll definitely have to make sure we close off this pasture. That way we can get in the main gate. The unexpected pop-up snow and rain showers that come through Indiana definitely made our hay lot a muddy mess. That made it hard to pull the trailer through, but we were able to get it. After driving through the mud in a swarm of bison, we were finally able to get backed up to the corral to where we could let these bison out of the trailer finally. The heifer calf was the first to come off the trailer, and she came off pretty easy. After several minutes allowing this heifer some time to come off the trailer by herself, Wrecker tried giving her a little push with the flag. You can see how strong a bison kick can be. Bison can be very accurate with this rear or mule kick that you see here in the video. This is something that we definitely keep in mind when working bison on our farm. It's extremely dangerous and could be deadly. We were glad to get her off the trailer without breaking anything on the trailer or hurting herself. When I opened the split gate on the trailer, you can see it got caught on the straw. Luckily, it was just enough to get this heifer off the trailer safely. Now that we have the bison secured in the corral, they'll be here for the next 7 to 10 days. Our next thing is trying to get this truck out of this muddy hay lot. We need to get packed so we can leave in the morning for the Eastern Bison Association. We had no problem getting the truck and trailer out of the pasture with the bison unloaded. We got a good night's sleep. That was much needed because we had a 9-hour drive ahead of us, heading out to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania for the Eastern Bison Winter Conference. We were excited to be going out to this conference we had never attended before. We have a lot of partners and friends that we work with out on the East Coast, so it was a good opportunity for us to network and get some bison conversation in with those folks. We had a nice drive out to Pennsylvania. The weather and traffic was great. This was a 2-day conference and we checked in just a little early, which gave us time to network with some local producers.
What can I do locally? How can I take that and apply it to my situation and try to add value to my operation? That's ultimately the goal.
Adam was our main speaker at the conference. You cannot ask for a better person. Not only does he work for the National Bison Association full-time, but he also has a podcast that keeps us producers up to date as far as what's going on in the market industry and also topics that are related to bison. I was asked to be a guest speaker at the conference to talk a little bit about niche marketing. As far as what's working for us, what are some programs that we're doing and implementing on our farm, and what have we had success with. It was a real privilege and an honor to have the opportunity to do that.
Again, the thigh sulcus is kind of being hidden. It could just be pushed out. The hip bone is hidden by some fat, so that's why she's getting a 3+. You technically already saw the answer to this, but I'm still gonna make you think about it anyways. Maybe I'll switch it up. Can anyone tell me why he's a 4+? She looks pregnant. I like that. Anyone else have any ideas why you would get a 4+ and maybe not a total 5? Yeah, that's absolutely what I would say, is that you can still see that spine. It's not kind of depressed into that whole body.
And as mentioned, working on a vaccine that is also supported by the Center of Excellence for Bison Studies. We have been updating our folks on M. bovis at our winter conference. Most recently this past January in Denver, Colorado at the winter conference, where we had the top 3 researchers discussing the progress on that vaccine and the diagnostics.
We look forward to planning our next get together, and we'll definitely be in touch with when and where that is, and hopefully we get to see a ranch at that point.
After the conference, we took a quick picture with some good friends before heading back to Indiana, but we definitely enjoyed ourselves out at the EBA conference. We learned a lot and also had a good time networking with new producers and experienced producers.
And today we're waking up to a problem. The calves have managed somehow to get onto our pollinator habitat area. So we're going to have to try to get them across that fence safely without anybody getting hurt. So we'll see how this goes.
I was able to utilize our drone that we have, one to see where they had taken down the fence to see what supplies I may need to get before I head out to get it fixed. I was also able to check the herd to make sure there was no injuries to these calves as they were taking down the fence. This time of year can be challenging for bison producers, especially with these calves wanting to get out on some fresh green grass. They've been on hay for most of the winter, and they're ready to get out and explore and graze on new green pastures. After getting several good views, I was able to determine that none of the calves had any type of injuries from taking down this fence. I'm definitely going to be hooking the hot wire fence back up to this pollinator habitat fence once we're done getting these bison back over. So somehow or another, the bison were able to pull that wire off of the post over here. So I think what happened is, this is the 3rd string wire, should be down here. Yes. And then
this high tensile hot wire here is ultimately supposed to be here. But what has happened is they have broke this post off. So there must have been one that was partially caught possibly in the wire for a short time before they broke the wire off. But just applying that here, you can see now that most of the wire is back in place where it should be, other than right here where they have broke the T-post, or may have pulled it out, I'm not sure. It's broke. So that's where the post was before, and that's where it stands now. But I think we got a little bit of fertilizer here on our pollinator habitat now. So I'm sure that'll be much used coming into springtime here. We get a lot of different flowers, pollinators that come into this plot that we have here. So all right, well, we got a little fence building to get done this morning. It is nice out in Indiana for once. It's currently 55 degrees this morning. We've been waking up to temperatures in the past to single digits or teens. So this is kind of a nice weather break for us. Here you see Canuck and Denali and our two uprising bulls that we've got. And our cows are about a half mile, or maybe a little farther back along the tree line still. So, all right, guys, well, that's not the best fix, but I have all of the wires back on insulators. What I was able to do was just push these T-posts down to where they're busted off. I've got it staying in just temporary for now. I'll go back up to the house and get the tractor later and drive these posts back down. Every year our farm rents a skid loader and fence pounder. We come out and we replace broken posts throughout the winter and throughout the season that we may have. So we've talked about wanting to put this into wood post and then adding maybe a bob wire for the top as well, just to prevent this from happening again. So this was just a quick fix that we wanted to put together to help protect our pollinator habitat and also protect us while we're working the bison. As you can see, here's our alleyway and our chute. And we'd like to make sure that we're safe and secure while we're in that area and the bison to have a chance to get up close to us. So we implemented and put in this pollinator habitat here, which is also a suggestion my mother had. She thought it'd be nice to have flowers out here in this area and also help secure us while we're working the bison. So that's what we did. And I think this coming spring, later on here, once the ground's starting to hard up just a little bit more, we'll rent that fence pounder and we'll come back out here and we'll install wood post where these current T-posts are. While I had the drone up in the air, I flew over top of the working corral to check on those bison we had brought back prior to leaving for the conference. They looked pretty comfy in there laying on the fresh hay. So Gus is our 6-year-old miniature pony that we've got. We don't use him for too much other than just a nice yard decoration. And he's also nice for the kids that come for tours here at the Bison Farm. So throughout the summer, we'll have somewhere between 100 to 150 tours a year, private tours that we give of our farm. And when we do that, we bring a lot of kids from schools, home schools, community schools, private schools, colleges, universities that come to the farm. And a lot of people have never seen a horse or a pony up close. So Gus has a very good demeanor and temperament. So it gives a lot of the younger kids the opportunity to hand feed a pony. And sometimes, depending on the group, we'll do a little pony ride with Gus. So he doesn't mind having a little ride every now and then. He is extremely kid friendly, and we enjoy having Gus around. So, all right, guys. So what we're going to be attempting to do is start a 3-acre pollinator habitat, and with that, we're going to have somewhere around 25 to 27 different type of perennials that will be mainly driven for this pollinator habitat that we're having to hopefully bring in dragonflies. We're hoping to bring in some butterflies. We're looking to bring in as many bird species and wildlife that we can into this 3-acre pollinator habitat. We know it's going to take us about 3 years before the habitat is at full maturity, and in time there'll be something that guests will be able to see and be able to walk through and take pictures with when time comes. So we're excited about that part of it. Giving back to part of our farm and the heritage that we have here is helping maintain the wildlife habitat and the different species of flowers and grasses that we have here on the farm. So as you can see, there's some things that we're going to be incorporating into this pollinator habitat is some sunflower seeds. We also have some Virginia wild rye that will be setting in this. We are going to be having some Canadian wild rye as well here. That's Virginia wild rye. This is Canadian wild rye. We are going to have plenty of black-eyed Susans, some stiff goldenrod that we'll have in place as well. We're going to have some cup plant. We're going to have some button blazing star as we see here, and we'll have some foul manna grass that we'll have. We're going to have some foxgrove buttonglove here, you can see. We also have some showy milkweed. We're going to have some prairie dot. We're going to have some compass plant. We're going to have some purple coneflowers. We are going to have some switchgrass. This would be nice to have as well to help provide some protection in those grassy areas for those birds and species that want to be kind of covered a little bit more. We have some sweet Joe piewood here. We have some butterweed. We have some common rush. We have some Paul Wyman. We're going to have some New England asters. We're going to have some of these. We're going to have just a little bit of everything. Some common ironweed. And we're going to have some cardinal flower stuff. And we also have some species of some flowers that we have that we've taken here on the farm. So, after sorting out all the seeds, we had 29 plants in total that we wanted to get planted in this habitat. So then we categorized them down into the soil conditions, which was dry, moderate, and moist. From here, we'll take these out and we'll plant them in the locations that match up with the soil conditions in this pasture. Such warm season grasses that are here in the middle of this pasture currently, and then here on the outside edge, we created a buffer all the way around that is somewhere between 40 to 50 feet. Typically this side of this pasture tends to hold more moisture than the side closest to the house. So we've sorted out our plants, and hopefully this is we plan on putting the majority of our plants that can tolerate more wet and moist soil. And then on the south side of this pasture and the west side of the pasture is where we'll put the dry, more tolerant flowers and plants that we've got. So this side here, we will make more for those dry, tolerant, and then moderate we'll put in the middle of the buffer all the way around the pasture. Early last spring, we started working along the side of a wildlife biologist from Pheasants and Quail Forever to start preparing this pasture and habitat to make sure we were putting the right type of plants and diversity into this pollinator habitat. I'm not sure if it's a fresh green grass or just spring in the air. It got Canuck, Dolly, and the other bulls out galloping around the pasture. They did this several times while we were finishing up broadcasting the seed. One of the steps we had to complete early last spring was start preparing this buffer and habitat seed bed by killing off the cool season grasses. We then had to allow 1 year before we could plant any seeds in this area. The biologist recommended that we have a 50% dead vegetation and bare soil exposure when putting down these seeds. After a year of planning and preparation, we're really looking forward to watching this habitat come to life and the ecosystem and diversity it will bring to our farm, for us to enjoy and also our visitors. Thank you for watching our video and making sure you like and follow our page to keep up with the herd. Until next time.